Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Ultra hardware number 94011. This is a 180 degree door viewer. This is made of zinc. It is a chrome finish. It has a 180 degree lens angle and requires a 9/16 of an inch hole. Do be mindful, this is neither listed nor labeled, which means it's expressly not permitted to be used on a fire-rated door. We're not the code police here, but our experience and our expertise of the matter does put us in a position of making you aware of where you would, possibly would not use this. So a fire-rated door would be a no-go on this model. I don't know that Ultra has any UL listed or fire door label approved door viewers. I'm thinking that if you're installing it in anything other than residential, you probably are going to need a listed or labeled viewer. I'm looking at their oh, they do. They absolutely do have UL listed material, so they can certainly help. That's good. Your UL listed models, they have two models in well, they've got a satin nickel, they've got a brass, a polished brass, and they've got a satin chrome. The satin nickel and the satin chrome are 160 degree lens angle that require a 1/2 inch hole. Those part numbers respectively are 94031 and 94012. You can search those on the website. The polished brass is a 200 degree lens angle, 9/16 hole, and is a part number 94014. So they can certainly help. Be mindful to go in that direction should you have a fire rated or a otherwise listed application. Now the 94011, that's going to be something that's going to work on doors from 1.5 to 2 1/4 thick. Nice large sort of viewer. This would be the large one, so to speak, without getting obtusely large. They do make, we can get you bigger ones. They say 1.5 to 2 1/4. This will obviously get us down to 1 3/8 inches, so that's nice. You might have 1 3/8 inches door thickness. Spreading all of the way open, this viewer. Make sure that it'll go to 2 1/4. They generally go right to 2 1/4, like with only a couple of revolutions remaining. Okay, let's get that put back together and turn it a couple of times. See what we're dealing with. Yeah, so you'll get to 2 1/4 safely. Okay. Now, where are you going to use this? Well, anywhere where you need a door viewer that's not fire rated. Obviously, residential is what I'm thinking of. This would be really appropriate for residential applications in the sense that it will give you a broader lens angle at 180 degree rather than 160 degree, which are the tiny ones. And what's the telltale sign is the size of the hole that's required. If you're at 1/2 inch, that's going to be a small one. If you're at 9/16, that's going to be a big one in general. They say that it's 9/16 installation hole. My caliper tells me that this body is 0.536. So that's going to work out pretty good for a 9/16 hole. A couple of other dimensions to give you. The the OD of the inside trim, 0.725. The OD on the outside trim, 0.981. Okay. Now installing this. If it was a fire-rated door, we would talk about handicap compliance. That would put you about 43 inches or so from the floor. Would be a good height for that check. Make sure where you're going to install that material. If you're installing it, obviously, in a residential application, you'll install it that suits the users. I go to people's homes and I've asked, hey, you've got 2 door viewers in your door. Why is that the case? Well, Grandma moved in, and Grandma's not 5'9". She couldn't see who's knocking at the door, so we added another one down at Grandma's height, 4'11", if she's like my grandma. So the height would be something you would decide, obviously. Now, where you install it, obviously in the center of the door, but not always. You'll certainly see viewers offset to one side, right above the lock sort of scenario. That's atypical, but not unheard of. It's your door, put it where you want. That's the bottom line. Drilling it, however, requires a little bit of thought. If you have a square-edged door, meaning the door styles are square, you can put your tape measure on that door and mark to the center line or wherever and mark your hole, center punch it, drill your hole, and you're in good shape. If your door, however, is beveled, meaning that if you were to measure from the interior of the door, let's say that swings in, from the interior over to the center line, then go to the other side of the door and measure from that same style, like the lock style, to that same dimension, that hole is not in the same place because you have a beveled door. Your reference, your point of reference is different by almost 1/8 of an inch. And you don't want to drill a hole when you only have, 10/1000ths of an inch, or I should say 0.1 inch or so, margin all the way around, or at least on each end. So you'll want to be mindful because that's the back set. The edge of the door to the center of a hole, that is defined as the center of the thickness of the door to the center of the hole. So therefore, the definition of backset doesn't depend on, well, is it beveled or square? Be mindful of that. If you've got a beveled door, don't drill right through. Don't drill 2 holes because you're gonna be off a little bit, and that's you're gonna say to yourself, "Ooh, that was close." Also, when you're drilling the door, be careful and be mindful to not drill too aggressively. You don't want to have your bit tear veneer out or flare out the steel in such a way that now you've got a dimple underneath the head of the door viewer. The point is there's very little trim around here is what I'm driving at, and actually this Ultra is actually quite generous in terms of that dimension. They're usually about half of that dimension. So you want to be careful about where you put that, where you're going to put that hole. I will generally mark my hole floor to the center line or top down, whatever I'm doing, from the lock side. I will double check that dimension, and I will usually take a jobber's drill bit and I will drill through the door because I can drill pretty straight, having done countless thousands and thousands of hours in a wood shop type work. I would urge you to drill from both sides after you double check everything, double check your dimensions. Lots of tools to use. You can put the door down in the flat and then drill straight down. Perhaps you can use a router. If you've got a template, you can just do a plunge router. That would give you a pretty clean cut. Anyway, the point of the matter is how you drill it is up to you, but be mindful of your dimensions if it's a bevel door, certainly. This is a chrome finish on the exterior bezel, and you can see that that is certainly a decent finish. There'd be no problem with that at all. Zinc is used very commonly as a base material for hardware because it's not only abundant, but it's inexpensive, and it does afford a good finish on the base material. If this was in brass, it would look like a nice polished brass. It just simply would. So that's why zinc is very popular. Now, finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Ultra hardware products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Now, in the full product catalog, if you are a residential customer, and speaking of zinc, I would look at their cabinet hardware. Great, very good quality fit and finish. Great value in their cabinet hardware. They have material made of solid brass. Lots of it is zinc. Zinc is nice because it's heavy. You feel like, oh, that's pretty massive. If you're a commercial client, I'd look at their hinges, their door closers, their exit devices, and their lock sets. If you're a subcontractor and you supply and install doors and frames, you do real good with Ultra's commercial line of hardware. Great value. Your client might say, yeah, sure, I need exit devices, but I don't want to spend $1 million to be code compliant, and that's a very understandable position. I don't know that anyone does want to do that. With Ultra, you're going to find good quality material, good caliber material, stuff that's not, for average strip mall where there's moderate commercial volume, you know, you're going to be in real good shape with that material. Anything by Ultra. If you have any questions on the Ultra, 94011, zinc base material, chrome finish, 180 degree, non-UL listed door viewer, or any other Ultra product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.